and direct impact of this scourge on human rights. There are devastating consequences of terrorism on the ability of individuals to fully enjoy their rights. Terrorism destabilizes governments, undermines civil society, jeopardizes peace and security, and threatens economic and social development. Reasons for involvement in acts of terrorism varied between men and women. However, both were part of the solution. States should therefore integrate more women into law enforcement and security and take their views into account when developing counter-terrorism strategies, which is an opinion that we're going to be discussing with Dr. Mahgoub, a human development expert. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Mahgoub. And let's first, as a human development expert and coach, how do you assess the terrorist attacks that took place over Brussels earlier in the week? And do you think it's like an epidemic that is being transmitted psychologically in the brains of psychologically imbalanced people, or how do you assess it?
Yeah. Hi. Good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are very sorry for what happened in Brussels as well. We are sorry for Egypt too. We are facing same problems. About 31 people have been killed and more than 270 injured people by a bomber. Someone exploded himself. Recently, when some researchers studied this motivations, what motivates those people to explode themselves or to be a terrorist. Researchers show that those people, they are not psychiatric, they are not crazy, but maybe they face some depression, or they are hopelessness because they don't find hope or objectives or something like this. And of course that happened, or we knew that when they recognized two of the people who committed this crime. One of them were tracked by the police, so he didn't find any hope. Therefore, he decided to bomb himself. So this one reason for being a terrorist. Other factors or other reasons, such as ideologies, religion, ideologies. Maybe those people think that God sent them to be for a certain mission, and they have another life after death, to going to heaven, and they are doing something unique to just killing innocent people. So it's a matter of ideology. Another thing that they are feeling, they might feel that they don't have employment, decent life, they are not feeling with the justice and so on, so maybe they have good reasons to commit a crime.
So we were just discussing in the earlier segment the root cause, because the solutions tend to be military strategy, political dialogue, but the root cause from the human development element and from the human psychological element and the emotional part, like you mentioned, this hope, this struggle in life, losing a lot of opportunities or losing close ones, which could enable and become a root cause for such terrorist acts.
Yeah.
In your opinion, from the psychological perspective, where is the root cause? Because this is the source of an increasing amount of terrorists.
Yes, of course. Actually, I've read about the cause, the real cause behind spreading terrorism in Europe, especially in Brussels or in Belgium. In the 19th, some people moved from North France to Belgium, and most of them are Muslims. They consolidated in certain areas. So these it's restricted areas. The police and authorities cannot reach these areas, so they have closed community. 80% of those people are Muslims, so they are not under control of the government. So maybe they have certain ideologies within mosques, attended some special private lessons or something like this. So maybe they can change their minds how to be a terrorist, how to attack other people. So maybe those people they have the reasons, because maybe they are not employed, they unemployed, they don't have sufficient means to live a decent life. they feel injustice. They have roots, Muslims from North Africa, but they have nationality of European community as a citizen of European community. So maybe they have their motivation to commit suicide or to kill the other people.
Right, Dr. Mahgoub or Mrs. Mahgoub, regardless or apart of the geopolitical nature of Sinai, there are different elements that collaborated at one time to be able to be set as root causes for terrorism in that particular area in the region. So is one of them human development and development as a whole in the region, and how could human development be a way to resolve the problems of terrorism inside northern Sinai?
Sinai plays an important role. It's a very important part of Egypt. It links Africa with Asia, and it's a formal path for all trades from 4,000 years ago. And nowadays we find a lot of attacks happens in Sinai. A lot of people attack our military and our police, and I think the cause of these attacks, because for a certain time we had the agreement with Israel, it's forbidden area to spread our military or police in certain areas. So in these areas, a lot of people they were hiding in Sinai because it's not under control. So it gathered a lot of people with certain ideologies. This part. So if we talk about human development, we are talking about three main elements. One of them is government. The human development itself, it's about how to develop people, how to provide good health care and health services, how to provide educational and knowledge, how to provide a decent life. So these three main axes of human development cannot be implemented in Sinai because of the restricted areas due to government agreement with our neighborhoods, with other countries. So it's difficult to have development because it's ruled as well with Bedouin people. Bedouin people, they have their own community. They don't want other people to come and to develop themselves. So actually it has a lot of resources, natural resources and human resources, but we cannot use these resources, especially for the right time, because we cannot attract a lot of investors because it's dangerous area. Maybe North Sinai, not South Sinai. Of course, we know that South Sinai is very safe. Sharm el-Sheikh is very safe, and it has a good location. It attracts a lot of tourists. So I'm talking about north of Sinai.
Yes. So from the existing situation in Egypt itself, because we have been, going through different phases the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Terrorist attacks, people lost in the political, scene within the struggle between parties and other parties, and there has been a lot of turbulences. And definitely throughout this phase, people were scattered in groups. So some groups were with parties, some groups were with government, against government, with terrorist groups. So there has been a lot of changes. Has it been, studied how, this development of the human mind towards what happened across those 5 years? Because this is history.
Yeah.
And the change elements will be continuing for the upcoming decades.
Yeah, of course. Before 2011, a lot of Egyptian people, they didn't know anything about politics.
That's true.
And suddenly, all of a sudden, 85 million people, all of them are talking in politics. And of course, it was a very difficult time, the past 5 years, because we faced a lot of changes in government, revolutions, everything. So the result of what happened in the past, that we have classified the community into different parties, some people supporters and some of them against the ruling regime, some religious people. We don't know what's exactly happening right now. But most of the Egyptian people nowadays, they are supporting the current political system and regime and our president, because I think from my point of view, our current president, he is the core and he is the best president in the region, because he's gathering all initiatives together. Yes. Otherwise would be such as Syria, Yemen, and as well other countries.
We should be grateful to the current, security situation.
Of course, and all people should recognize this. Okay, when the prior president, when he ruled our country, okay, we were waiting, we respected him, we were waiting what about his achievement, but he did not hold the whole responsibility as well. Therefore, we welcomed our current president, President Sisi, and he is very responsible. In 1 year, he has achieved hundreds of achievements, and we are so proud of him, really.
Right, Mrs. Mahgoub, tell me, as a human development expert, how could a human development expert be one of the very successful means of building on a safe world, national security, chasing off or chasing away the very wrong ideologies from the minds of youth?
Yeah.
Which is also a threat.
Yeah, if we are talking about human development, the first liability of human development relies on governments. So they have to take care about educational system, the people, their income, employment, health care, and so on. But they cannot do everything by themselves. So the civil society should assist the government to reach their goals for better human development, factors or life. So the civil society, which are international organizations or NGOs, foundations and associations, and as well the private sector. The private sector is playing an important role by its CSR, social corporate responsibility. So from my point of view, how to reform, how to set a human development form, first it should come from the country itself, by setting a good strategy, how to restructure the educational system, the healthcare system, the manpower system, then setting strategy, then spread the strategy to the private sector and the civil society sectors, so they can implement the government strategy. And I think in that case, the country as well is going to be developed.
Yes. So why do some people succeed in convincing some youth to commit suicide attacks and kill themselves? It's like the extreme.
Yeah.
So instead of having this, mechanism of influence and impact on those people in the wrong way, what should we be doing to have it in the right way? Because if you convince someone to kill himself, you would rather also convince him to do something fruitful and developing to the country and to himself.
Yeah. Researchers and professors studied this issue, and they discovered that those people who commit suicide, they are not crazy, but they are mature people. But the reason behind being committed suicide, that maybe they are depressed, or maybe they are hopeless people. They don't have objectives, they are living very bad conditions, they don't have full employment, or they are not employed, they face some troubles in their life, so maybe they come to be suicide or to kill others. This one factor. Another factor, some drug addictors, so they are unconscious, so maybe they cannot control their mind, they cannot control their acts. Therefore, they are victims for terrorism people, other people who push them to commit suicide because they cannot rely or they cannot recognize what they are doing exactly. And another thing that ideologies is religious beliefs that just to convince some people that you have born for a certain mission, and then if you are going to be suicide or to explode other people or something like this in the sake
Will
of
be
the Islamic,
rewarded, yes, yeah.
rewarded for the sake of Islamic State or whatever. So you'll be rewarded after death, and you'll be in heaven, and we shall meet you in the heaven, and so on. And of course, this is naive thinking, thoughts. Another part is very, very important. Just brainwash people with the prisoners inside the prison itself. So some people, they are hopeless when they are in the prison, prisoners, so they don't have hope or objectives. What's up? If I'm going to get out? Some other people, terrorist people, they can play in their minds, so they can direct themselves. Okay, you're better to do so, then we are going to secure your family, and so on. So they can brainwash those people and force them to do something such as bombing other or something like this.
Right. Do you think that rated scenes of acts of violence and violent movies and violent culture in itself, I mean, these things in fashion, I mean, even in the games for kids and youth, do you think that these incite violence inside the minds of youth?
Of course, yes, I agree 100%. The media plays an important role in shaping the way of thinking, especially for youth or people who cannot think logically, or they don't have enough educational background and so on. Some people, I read once upon a time, I read people just hanged himself because he was trying a game. He watched this game or its existed game, so he hanged himself. So maybe in violent movies or something like this. And of course, a lot of movies, it has been imitated in the police take care out about the essential elements of police and so on, so they can learn more about criminal commitments or something like this.
Yes. You also spoke about drugs, you know, and its effect on a lot of youth. How does this, raise the amount of terrorists in real life and joining groups and terrorist groups?
Researchers discover that people who takes drugs, they become more aggressive than other people, and they are able to commit a crime. So if they want to commit a crime, if they are addictors, so they need a lot of money. So they don't mind to commit any crime in the sake of getting money to purchase their drug. So, and they are unconscious. Of course, they don't think very well, they are abnormal. Therefore, it's easy to control those people to commit any crime.
Right. Dr. Maha Mahgoub, Human Development Expert, would like to thank you very much for coming over to Nile Cruise. Wish you the best of luck, of course. And now, before we go to a short break, we're going to take you on a quick report on the family house, and we'll come back to you after this short break. So stay with us.
The Cultural Awareness Committee of بيت العائلة المصرية Association